Hey y'all, Monk Joseph with the Broken Buddha. Today we're going to talk about Hollywood entertainment out of control. How'd we get here? I may even name it as a paradox because a paradox is something that doesn't make any functional sense. And let's just get right into it. So I grew up pretty much sat in front of a TV and raised by it. So I'd say I have a pretty good I'm a pretty good authority on this topic. I've learned a lot because I was a huge into like all the sciencey stuff, so I was able to learn a lot from that setting. But we're not growing up in the same era that we did. When I had access to all that information in front of me, and I'm able to sit back now that entertainment's gotten completely out of control and see how and why it got out of control. First off, people don't typically use entertainment to inform themselves, and people used to. People used to learn things from TV. They didn't just like watch things to numb themselves in their illusions. But if you really look at what entertainment has become, I mean, it has become a paradox. We watch people pretend to do things to make them seem more interesting. It's way bigger than that. Like I'm gonna try to dive into this whole thing, and we're gonna go through this together. But it's really too long of a single thing to pinpoint because not only are we revering people who pretend to do things instead of people who actually do things, but we're putting way more time into it than we used to, and we're putting more credence into it than we used to. I mean, people think that you know the strong actors you see on TV are actual strong. Like, dude, they're not in the cage, maybe because of the money, like Michael Jai White said. But I mean, they're paid to pretend. That's what they do. Your majority of your time goes towards watching people play make believe, watching adults play make believe, and this is where I start to get like kind of seeing the realities of it. Like if any adult came up to you right now and said, "Watch me play make believe," you'd be like, "Get the hell away from me." But once somebody's established as that's what they're supposed to do, you're supposed to watch them play make believe. It becomes normal. So now we've normalized watching adults play make believe on TV, and not only that, but it's almost like people believe the make believe they see. Like that person's actually strong. That person can actually fight. That person actually knows science, and it's insane. It's insane because we all know that they're playing make believe. But let's take make believe back to the beginning, right? Let's go back to like something like Charlie Chaplin. First, there was the moving picture box. People loved seeing pictures move on the moving picture box, and that wasn't quite enough. So they had, then they brought in sound, and people got to do more acting and actual make believe, and then, of course, you add music, makes it more interesting. Fast forward to now, where you have somebody pretending to do something that they will never do to a top 40 hit with 100 of the best graphics designers in the world doing their best to make this guy seem interesting. I mean, we really need to get ahead of this because those people aren't interesting. There's nothing, the only thing that's interesting about actors is that they get paid to play make believe. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else, no other reason. So unless you're gonna watch them, like I want to get home from work and that now I'm going to enjoy myself by watching somebody live life who got to get paid a lot of money to play make believe because that's what you're really doing, despite whatever it is in your head that you think you're doing. The problem is that they're using everyone's lifestyles to they're using the validation of everyone's lifestyles to pull you in to make it think that it's more than that. And if you really want to understand that, you have to watch all the different types of comedy that validate things. If you want to see how Indians wish to be validated, you watch some Bollywood, and you'll see the family dynamics in the Bollywood movies and TV shows validating what they see in family. Most cinema is cut out for mainstream society, or some would even say white society. But if you watch some of the black entertainment, I'm not even going to parenthesize it because it's a thing that pops up in TV and movies now. But you'll see things like in House of Pain. You may think that's ridiculous, but to somebody who's growing up in that cultural setting, it's validative to the same stuff. But it's not any different than any other culture. I mean, when you're watching, like I watch I actually can't watch a lot of TV and movies now anymore and really enjoy it because a lot of times all I see is like the validation of schizophrenia. Like, really watch. I mean, they have like how many action movies are based on one guy losing complete emotional control, throwing it all away, and then defeating everyone with not a single drop of research or training. Just I am me. Like, it's the most over validative resource that any schizophrenic could have, and we just like feed it out to society. You can be like this. you can make it if you just lose emotional control once and don't ever train or read a book to make sure you do it properly. Like it's crazy. It's really freaking crazy. Beyond that, I think the worst is when you're watching rom-coms, romantic comedy TV shows. They're all about like the most horrible humans you've ever seen in your life. Just compulsive liar after schizoid after schizoid. It's just it will make you lose your mind just if you really sat back and watched. Like anybody watching a rom com should take a second and be like, I would never treat anyone I care like this because this is ridiculous and no one should ever treat anyone like this. But instead, you're just like, me and my girlfriend hate each other too. Me and my boyfriend hate each other too. All right, so there's that side of it. So there's like the cross-validative side, but it really was, if you go back to the beginning, like I was saying, it really is playing on this whole like stopping you from noticing that there's something wrong with it. You went from a silent moving picture to, sound and music, and then they had original scores. I think original scores were probably the peak of entertainment, where people were actually into their acting. They're making original scores, beautiful music to go with the movies. But now we have people that just pretend to be themselves while they play top 40 over it, right? Um, yeah. And I remember how entertainment went down. I remember the Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen was like one of the main of entertainment because his whole thing, that guy hates religion like so much. And I was watching the movie Paul the other day, and I'm like, this is Seth Rogen's Passion of the Christ. He got to be the alien taking on all the bad and blame, and then he was still here. So it's really funny to watch somebody like that who can't act project their religious beliefs into the movies and still make it. I mean, the guy's never played anything except for himself in a movie, and I've enjoyed some of the settings, but I mean, we all know what it is. We all know he can't act. He knows he can't act, but for some reason, he still feels accomplished, and we allow him to feel accomplished. We did that. Yeah, and also there's a new twist in movies now. Nowadays, they've taken it out of horror movies, I guess. And Seth Rogen actually put this on Spot too, where they just do something really, really gross and messed up that sticks with you. And I swear, man, like that was that time period of entertainment is when it seems like we've gotten out of entertainment and into mass social vampirism. Is how I see it, mass social vampirism. So because you want people to think of this horrible thing while they're trying to live their lives, and then it brings you back to the movie, then they watch it again, and then your next movie has something equally messed up. And that's why every Seth Rogen movie has something really messed up and gritty in it. I mean, he's just trying to dig down and grab because he can't act, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. If you go back, I think the funniest thing is when I was watching. I said I grew up in front of a TV, so I was watching Donnie Darko once, and you see Seth Rogen in there just like playing the tough guy bully, like what, and that's who I assume that like he really is, because yeah, he just he could barely get out of his way for that role. He didn't have to speak. All he had to do was drag his knuckles across the ground, and still could barely do it. Yeah, so that's it. And now every actor wants to get paid for being themselves instead of actually acting. So, and it's become this whole like society validated, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Like people are up there like, like they'll do whatever it takes to get your attention. So anyway, that's the point. I mean, we at some point society has to step back and be like, this is fucked up. Like this guy's not interesting while they're pretending to do stuff to someone else's song. I mean, it takes, you put one guy on camera, right? So here's the whole equation I'm seeing that I've been trying to get to this whole time. You put a guy on camera, not interesting, not a nice guy, right? Then you create a story that makes him seem interesting and a nice guy. 'Cause if he's not a nice guy, you won't watch it. There's a reason why bad guys and villains get that rap and they end up getting stuck like that. So they have to convince you that he's interesting and a nice guy. Then they have to create a series of events that would never happen and has never happened to him to continue. Oh, wow, this guy is really interesting. And then they bring in somebody else to keep him interesting. Well, then they play that top 40 song you just heard last week, and that's even more interesting. And then, oh, what's this? Oh, CGI guy. He's got you right here. Wow, look how interesting this guy is that's got all these CGI things around him. And y'all fall for it, man. I fell for it. Y'all fall for it. But, I mean, I'm starting to wake up, so hopefully other people are starting to wake up. Anyway, so this is my issue with the Hollywood entertainment paradox, how we got here. It's ridiculous, man. I will probably at some point in my life, hopefully get away from the thing because there's not much more I can learn from the moving picture box. So Yeah, and there we have it. That's it. So I'll get away from it. That's why I really enjoy getting out and doing my kung fu. But you spend your entire life being told that's relaxing and that's good living, and then at the end of it, you're like, why am I watching a grown man play make believe to a song I don't like, with effects that don't make sense, and a plot that makes even less sense? Yeah, I'm done. All right, so there you have it. That's my rant. Thanks for stopping by. Peace and blessings.